Hi guys, this is Harbir Singh here, and on today's Q&A we're going to be talking about how you can get through your fasting window to make it to 12 o'clock. I eat 12 to 8, so I'm using 12 o'clock as an example. It's going to be different for all of you. Some people do 11 to 7. The idea is you fast for a 16-hour window each day and you eat within an 8-hour window of time, and to get through to that mark, whatever it is, that 12 p.m. or that 11 a.m., whatever it is that you're holding out until, there's a couple of tips that are really helpful. So the first thing that I want to mention is the black coffee. People are really familiar with this one because I talk about it all the time, but black coffee is an appetite suppressant. You can have it outside of your fasting window, within your fasting window, so you can have it anytime, whether you're eating or not eating, you can have black coffee. And it's not going to affect your fast. It's very good all around. It's got a lot of health benefits and actually reduces your risk of mortality of causes like Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's linked death, and also things like heart disease. So it's worth implementing in your diet. And if you don't like coffee, you can have black tea or green tea. So that's something that you can have all the time, and that was one question, and that's going to help you get through to your 12 o'clock or to your 8-hour eating window. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, how many cups of coffee can you have? Can you have sugar in it? Can you have milk? So no to the milk, no to the sugar. In terms of how many cups of coffee, I wouldn't recommend going OTT on it, so maybe just sip the coffee. One hack that I wanted to share with you guys today is that I have a litre of water and it's in a jug. And what I tell myself mentally is that I have to drink the litre of water before I can have a coffee. And when I do that, I usually don't need the coffee anymore, because I'm usually needing the coffee because I'm hungry or because I'm tired, and being hydrated fixes both of those things. So try that one. I think it's going to make a massive difference in getting you through to the time if you're struggling with it. The other thing that you can try and implement is chewing gum. Get some sugar-free chewing gum if you're really struggling. It can add a kind of distraction and can kill some of the hunger, although it's not something that I've ever used or implemented, because when you chew, you do secrete some enzymes which are related to digestion, and you're kind of tricking your body into thinking you're going to eat or digest food, and I don't know whether that's going to potentially make it harder for you. So that is something that you could experiment with. There's coffee, there's chewing gum. The third thing I'd recommend is keeping yourself really busy. If you're working at the moment, or if you're studying, if you can just get into the office or get into school, you can potentially busy yourself enough to not have to think about food or not have the option to eat. And that's also really important. So if you're at home, you don't have much to do, and everyone else is eating, it's going to be very difficult for you to do intermittent fasting. So you've got to make it work. You've got to put yourself in the right environment, make it as easy for yourself as possible. So make yourself busy is tip number 3. Tip number 1, coffee. Tip number 2, water. And tip number 3 is keep yourself busy. Tip number 4 is, if you're really struggling, do some exercise. Although exercise can increase appetite, if you have a really hard workout, it can make you quite hungry. If you're struggling with hunger pangs, exercise is a distraction. So if you're going for a walk, for example, it's a gentle exercise, nothing too intense, then your body is going to be focused on that, and you're not going to be feeling the hunger as much. And remember, if you're waking up at 7 o'clock like most people do, then you have a kind of 5-hour window to get through till it's time to eat. So it's not you're not going to go hungry for days. It's just getting through a couple of hours. The last thing that I do is I set an alarm on my watch for 12 p.m. and it's more of a mental kind of reward for me. I know when that alarm goes off, and I'm usually already prepared my food and ready to eat by 12 o'clock, but I know when that alarm goes off, I'm going to be free to eat and get on with my day and do everything else. So that's really important as well. So there's a couple of things to help you get through. Keep yourself busy, keep hydrated, implement caffeine, whether that's through coffee or tea or through green tea. To exercise, gentle exercise is really important. So those are, and to hydrate yourself as much as possible to stop your hunger, because your stomach actually has stretch receptors and it doesn't have calorie receptors. So when you fill your stomach doesn't really know what it's filled with, whether it's filled with a pizza or whether it's filled with a litre of water. So if you drink enough water, and 2.5 litres is what Dr. Batman, who's a famous doctor who's written a lot about hydration, his book called the body's many cries for water, and I'll link to it in the description box below, recommends 2.5 liters a day for most people. That will vary depending on your exercise level, whether you're male or female, and whether you live in a hot country or not. But I usually aim for, personally, for 3 liters a day. You've got to find what the sweet spot is for you. The other question related to that is, I keep making trips to the loo and I don't know how to manage that. It's affecting my sleep. So you don't want to drink water at least 2 hours before you go to sleep, because you'll need to get up to go to the loo, and that's going to affect your quality of sleep. In terms of during the day, there is a hormone that is secreted to make sure that your cells can still function in the absence of water. And when you start to drink more water, your body is not used to it, so you will need to urinate more often. You'll need to have more trips to the loo. And if you stick with it for a little while, your body will get used to it, and your body will get very efficient at timing your times that you need to go to the loo. So if you're having something first thing in the morning, and if you're having, say, a litre first thing in the morning, then you may go to the loo shortly after, 10-15 minutes after, and then may not need to go for a while after that once your body's adapted. So there's a couple of tips there to help you. If you have any more questions related to intermittent fasting, let me know. The main thing is stick with it. Consistency is key, as with anything. Nobody goes to the gym one day and then looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's about consistency. You've got to do things again and again, and your body remembers what you do most of the time. So don't be hard on yourself. You're doing great already. If you've started on this path, you're obviously keen on looking after your health and improving your health. So well done. Hats off to you, or turbans off to you, in my case. But keep it up, and let me know if you have any more questions or if you need any more help.